How's everyone doing today? Mike here. So, got a great video for you guys. Today, we are going to talk about a little mushroom foraging and identifying, specifically about coral mushrooms. All right, there's some beautiful mushrooms that are considered coral mushrooms, and we're going to talk about some edible ones today and some of the key identifying features that can help you identify the crown-tipped coral mushroom or the Artomyces pyxidatus. And there's also some potential lookalikes to the crown-tipped coral mushroom, and I'm going to talk to you about those type of mushrooms too, and how we can distinguish the crown-tipped coral mushrooms from its lookalike. All right, guys. Now, first, let's take a look at the Artomyces pyxidatus. Here is the crown-tipped coral mushroom. All right, everyone. So here is the Artomyces pyxidatus, or the crown-tipped coral, and you can see this mushroom is growing on a log there. A pretty well decomposed log, and that is one of the key identifying features of this mushroom. It is a wood decomposer, so you will see these mushrooms fruiting on logs. And look at this group of them here. Got a real nice kind of clusters of them and groups of them on this decaying log here. This is how you will find them in the forest. I find them like this 99% of the time. You'll just see a lying down log, and you might see the crown-tipped coral mushroom or the Artomyces pyxidatus just growing right off the side of the log there. And like I said, because it is a wood decomposer, that is a key identifying feature. Another key identifying feature is the tips of these mushrooms. Look at the very top of that mushroom. You can see this kind of crown-tipped structure, and that's where it gets its name, the crown-tipped coral. Here's a picture of me holding one with a nice little sunset behind it, and you can see the tips really good in this photo. And like I said, that is one of the key identifying features of this mushroom. And just take note of the structure too. That's another thing to take note of when you look at these mushrooms. You can see here I have the crown-tipped coral laid next to some other mushrooms in a gourmet mix box. I actually sold these at a farmer's market because they are an edible species of mushroom. And I like them. They're pretty tasty, I feel like. Okay, cool. So that is the crown-tipped coral mushroom. Hopefully now you guys can see where that mushroom grows, its environment, some of the key identifying features of it. Like I said, it's going to grow summer through fall, so now is a great time of year to potentially go out and find it. It is an edible mushroom and a delicious one at that, so if you want to eat it, give it a shot. Like always, if you're unsure of anything, always verify it with an expert and never eat anything you're unsure of. Now, I want to talk about the potential lookalike to the Romeria species. And they're not like deadly poisonous or anything, but some of these will cause GI distress, but some of them are also completely edible. I've eaten several of the lookalikes because some of the lookalikes are edible and they're delicious, okay? But let's just talk about how you can differentiate the crown-tipped coral from its potential lookalike, the Romeria. Okay, so the crown-tipped coral is a wood decomposer. So you will find, like I said, crown-tipped coral mushrooms growing on logs or stumps. If you do happen to find one growing that, like, it looks like it's growing out of the ground, there's a buried stump or a log there most likely, okay? Because the Romeria is a mushroom that is considered mycorrhizal and will be growing out of the ground or in association with trees. And it has a slightly different structure too. So you can tell the difference between the lookalikes, not only from the structure, but also from the growing environment and everything like that. So I'm going to show you a few pictures of the Romeria mushroom here as well. That way we can compare the crown-tipped coral to a Romeria species. Now, the Romeria species I do have photos of is actually an edible species of Romeria. At least I was able to digest it, no problem. I picked this Romeria out here in the Rocky Mountains, but this is the lookalike to the crown-tipped coral, and you will be able to see they look close. They're both coral type of mushrooms, but there is obviously differences between the two. All right, so let's take a look at the Romeria species right now, the potential lookalike to the crown-tipped coral. Okay, everyone, so this is the Romeria. I'm going to roll a few different photos of this mushroom just so you can see it from a few different angles and the structure and the growing environment of this mushroom. As you can see, it is growing out of the ground in this photo. There are some really nice thick clusters. These clusters are definitely thicker than that of what would be the crown-tipped coral, so that's one way you can distinguish them between the two. And you can also tell the tips of these coral mushrooms, these Romerias here, they're actually different than that of the crown-tipped coral. They still do have a little tip structure like coral has, but it doesn't have that crown like you'll see on the Artomyces pyxidatus. Now here you can see me holding one of these clusters here. And like I said, some of these are edible, and I did actually eat this one, but some of them do cause GI distress in certain individuals, and we'll talk about that a little bit right here. Okay, everyone, so that is the lookalike to the crown-tipped coral mushroom, and before this video is over, I'm going to roll some clips back and forth, so that way you guys can see it right next to each other. But like I said, the main distinguishing feature between the two is the crown-tipped coral is going to be growing out of a log, all right, or a stump, and the Romaria is going to be growing out of the ground, okay? So keep that in mind. Crown-tipped coral, or Artomyces pyxidatus, is going to be growing out of a log or a stump, and the Romaria species will be growing out of the ground, all right? So that's a major way that you can distinguish the two, and the crown-tipped coral, or the Artomyces, like I said, is the safer one for sure. You know, like most people don't have a problem digesting it. Romarias, you can eat them. Like I said, that one I was holding there, I actually did eat that. Okay, now, not everybody can digest all species of Romaria. The best thing I can tell everyone is try to research what specific Romarias are known to grow in your area. They're actually pretty hard to identify at a species level and get it broken down specifically. And one thing you can do is you can just try to eat a little bit and see if it bothers you at all. And if it does, don't eat it anymore. Because some people just do that anyway because they might be allergic to mushrooms, and they have to just test a little bit at a time. But that's what you want to do on a situation like that. If you think it might be edible, but you're just unsure how you may tolerate it, just eat a little bit, okay? But otherwise, when in doubt, throw it out. But the crown-tipped coral, Artomyces pyxidatus, is a great edible mushroom. I want to show you a few clips, like I said, the Artomyces pyxidatus compared to the Romaria species back and forth, just so everyone can see the structural differences between the two. All right, here we go. Okay, everyone, so here we go. This is the edible, the crown-tipped coral growing out of the log there. You can see those tips on it. You can see that it's growing out of the log. Here's the Romaria species. You can see it's got a slightly different tip structure. It's kind of thicker and just chunkier overall, but most importantly, it is growing out of the ground. Once again, crown-tipped coral, let's look at that tipped structure coming out of the very top of that mushroom that looks like a little crown. Easy way to distinguish these two mushrooms. And also just the thickness of the two mushrooms. The crown-tipped coral, like I said, it's got a lot thinner pieces of coral. These are a lot thicker pieces on the Romaria species. All right, everyone, so that was it. The Artomyces pyxidatus, or the crown-tipped coral mushroom. I hope you all found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please drop this video a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you click that subscribe button so you see more mushroom and farming videos like this in the future. But that's all I got for you on this one today, and I will catch you guys on the next one.